Cary Vance here at the Fountain Blue in Miami Beach. It's Miami Music Week. One Music Gab and RadioRd. Crystal Waters, how are you?
I'm great, Cary. So nice to be here.
Yeah, so wonderful to have you here. I have to say this. I want to say it was over the weekend that I texted you, and I probably hadn't talked to you in a while. And I said, Crystal, I'm doing One Music Gab and RadioRd. We've got, 10, 12 stations doing interviews. You want to come and do it? And you instantly, texted me back. And I was like, it's so great when, a lot of times you'll send a text to somebody and then 5 days later they'll be like, I just saw this. But
no, I was like, Cary, I haven't talked to him.
no,
It's great.
It's great. So Miami Music Week, what are you doing this week? Are you doing a bunch of shows? Are you coming to
No, I'm not performing, but I'm here. I'm here for the music, to support everybody. I'm looking for tracks. And, I have a record label working on an album, so I'm looking for tracks. I just really wanted to see everybody. I haven't seen anybody in 3 years, So it's just good to be out back in the community.
No, we were talking the last time so many of us saw each other was 2019. Then we went through that almost 3-year lull. And even last year, Miami Music Week, people were like, should I go? Should I not go? Should I go?
Didn't come, so.
No, but it's so great to see. So what are you working on music-wise?
Well, actually, I have 3 releases out now. I have To Be Loved, which we just released remixes by Todd Terry and David Morales. And I have one out with Flash Mob, and then I have Love One Another out with Robin S. So now I'm working on an album. I said I'm going to do one more album. So I'm doing that now. I'm in songwriting mode. And I also have a podcast that I do, a monthly podcast on iTunes, and I have a weekly show on Sirius XM. Channel 141. So I'm keeping busy.
So your show and your podcasts, what is the topic? What do you cover when you're doing those?
I'm playing the newest, freshest vocal house music. Always, when I'm traveling, I'm always looking for a station to play house music, and I never could find one. So, and me do one. I know what I like. So it's an hour's worth of vocal house, and I really wanted to do vocal because I'm a vocalist, but I wanted to mention the singers' names. But a lot of time these days, the singers and the writers get kind of lost in the sauce. And so, I really wanted to, put that up front when I do, announce all the songs.
I sat with Kalina Zanders a couple of minutes ago, who's a wonderful vocalist, and we talked about, if you go back to your music when you were doing She's Homeless or the different records that you were doing, it was a Crystal Waters record. It wasn't, like you mentioned, Todd Terry and David Morales. It wasn't Todd Terry featuring Crystal Waters or David Morales featuring Crystal Waters. And so much of dance music today is that. What's the key, you think, you're mentioning wanting to highlight vocalists? What do you think the key is for a vocalist to be able to be the artist as opposed to having to have the producer as well?
I think you have to fight for it. A lot of it's, just asking. I mean, a lot of times I think people are educated. In fact, when your name is in the title, how much money you get your PPL money and different checks that you get. And people, if you don't fight for that in your contract, that's one side of it. And the other side, if you really want to be an artist, that little position with featuring and the word "and" makes a little difference in people finding your name and find out who you are in the meta. So it's really important to have your name in the title and not be featured to the "and" or verses. So I think that's really a big key.
Is it very different running a label and finding talent as opposed to being the talent that is looking for a label to put you out?
It's very different running a label. I mean, but as an artist, I think I'm more sensitive. I know how the artists feel. Constructive criticism is very important, how you word yourself when you're trying to help somebody. But it's really, I see how hard it is to find, good music and people who want to stick with it and want to build something. It's a little different.
I was talking to Alternate A a few minutes ago, and we were talking about the Baltimore, Washington area. Right, that's where you're originally from, that area.
Well, I'm from South New Jersey. I went to Howard University in D.
Okay, so that's what it was, right. Because we were joking around about in Amsterdam, we always say, what's in the water? Because so many of these big Dutch artists come. But if you look at the Baltimore, D.C. area, it's the same thing. There's a lot of great music that's coming out of there. Even in Jersey, when you had Tony Humphries and his sound and all that. But is it very different now for you? You've been putting out music for 30 years or longer. Has technology changed how easy or hard it is to find music?
It's gotten a lot easier. You gotta remember when I first started, we were mailing cassettes. So that was the only way you got your music. It's easier. There's a lot more music to find, but I still find it hard to find good music. Even when I'm picking songs for the podcast, it's like a lot comes in, but to find something that's real, even to find a good song, I mean, there's a lot of tracks and stuff, but to find a good song with a good melody, I guess it's still just as hard to find, even, but there's a lot more to sit through, I feel like now.
What do you look for when deciding what you're going to play on a podcast or on Sirius in your show?
In my show, I'm looking for vocals. I'm looking for a song. I get a lot of tracks with just put your hands in the air, and I know when there's splice vocals, and then, but I'm looking for some kind of structure at least. I think that's what holds, a listener. They want, something to hold on to. So I look for that, and I like bass. I like bottom, so they have that in there, and it's moving. I get that and then.
Now, we've talked about this in the past. Gypsy Woman, timeless classic. When you first did the record, what did you think it was going to do?
I thought it was just going to be big in Baltimore and D.C. I mean, at the time, house music was just being played late at night in the clubs. And it was just so new that I just thought it'd be nice if it just was going in, Baltimore and D.C.
So when you heard, and I'm thinking it's your song, but now I'm trying to remember if it's a Target commercial or, right? I don't know if it's a Target commercial, but there's a commercial that runs now with a rendition of your song, but it's not you.
It's not my voice.
Play. When you hear something like that, what do you think?
Well, they come to you got to get permission first.
Right.
So at first I was disappointed it wasn't my voice, but it's still,
Check clear.
the check. And, I wrote it, so still publishing, and I mean, I'm just happy to see it's still alive, because I know Gypsy got a lot of play, but this is 100%.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it was 100% Pure Love. And see that to get some play now. It's being licensed now a lot because of that, and it's nice to me. It was brings everybody's memory back to you.
So do you, when you play out, do you see fans that came to see you 30 years ago or 35 years ago that now see you now, and like now their kids are coming to see as well?
I still get people who said, remember me from 1992? I'm like, no. But no, I get a nice mix. I get an older crowd, I get a younger, I get some crowds, I'm like, Gypsy Woman is older than they are. So it's like, if I get them a nice mix. But there's still, like last night we went to the city's party, and it was the whole New Year's crowd from the 90s. And it was just really cool to see everybody still out.
No, like there's songs that just transcend time, and that's one of them. So, congrats on the success of that, the label, the new music. We're here in Miami. This is the 1 week of the year in the United States where dance music is king, right? There's so many young artists trying to break into the music business. What's one piece of advice that you would give to an up-and-coming artist, singer, producer?
I think most important is to come to stuff like this. To come to Miami Music Week, they believe go to as many conferences, networking. I never expect anything overnight, but you never know the person you might meet. So, next year might be the one, There's always could get out, network, and talk to everybody in the community and more.
Well, before we let you go, we're going to do something called Cary's Quickies and give your fans a chance to get to know Crystal Waters a little bit better.
All right.
All right?
Here we go.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Fast or slow? What are we talking about? What's the fastest you've driven a car?
90.
Mashed potato, baked potato, or French fries? Cool or ocean?
Cool.
Hard or soft? What are we talking about?
Both.
Before you go to sleep at night, are you reading a good book or are you watching TV?
Book.
Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Reality or comedy?
Reality.
Recreational or medicinal?
Medicinal.
Sweet, sour, or salty?
No. Sweet.
Something breaks in your house. Are you fixing it or are you hiring somebody?
And hiring some.
Plush or firm?
Plus.
What's the last song Crystal Waters sang in the shower?
Love Will Keep Us Together by Captain and Tennille.
You want to give us a slight piece of it?
No. It's a shower moment.
All right. This one was. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gary.